Maintenance Man here talking about one of the services that we used to offer here at Mr. Dog Poop Studios. The use of our studio for other productions. On occasion, we did let other production companies use our studio. It gave us a little extra income when we're not using the space. I want to show you one of the crews that came in to film a few scenes when they needed some of our hospital props. Now this crew walked in very light, with just a single Canon EOS R5 on a Ronin gimbal, a couple accent lights, and a large black sheet that they use as negative fill. So I wanted to share some of the behind the scenes with you because so many filmmakers think they need the latest and greatest camera gear, all the bells and whistles, and a huge crew to make a good film. Of course, that's never been the case. And anyone waiting for better gear to make a film is just making excuses. If you have a smartphone, you can make a film. Regardless of what anyone tells you, the most important part of filmmaking is the content. We didn't fill our building with costumes and props just because Mr. Dog Poop is a hoarder. No, we actually use all this crap. And many local filmmakers do depend on us for many of their props. So what I really want to highlight about this particular crew on this particular day is how focused they were on set design, props, makeup, and their actors as opposed to their gear. They brought two makeup artists that worked all day to transform the actors into older versions of themselves. Now, while the actors were in makeup, the crew created the exact set they wanted using some of our props and a few that they brought with them. Once the set and lighting was approved by the director and the actors were ready, they added haze with a quick blast from a fog machine. The scenes they were shooting took place in some type of elder care medical facility with one of the patients in a coma, dead, or possibly both, I'm not really sure. But there was definitely some dying going on.
Comemone, I grant you Comemone.
I can't really go into any of the specifics, NDAs and all, but they are allowing us to share some of the behind the scenes shots on our channel. The emphasis of the shoot was really on the set and the perfect look for the scene and actors. The biggest challenge was being creative in a plain white corner of our studio. While anything is possible when you have money, when you're on a smaller budget, that's not always the case. You really have to work with what you have. Since our walls are just plain white, they added some pictures on the wall to break up the background, then adjusted the set and pictures so they could film as if they were in a couple different rooms. A basic lamp was added with an app-controlled bulb for some motivated light, along with some unique props that helped define the characters. Now, we did see some of the final footage, and the shots were amazing, but we're not allowed to share that yet. So for now, we can only show you the footage of them filming. The main point that I want to make is many filmmakers focus on the wrong things. They need a $3,000 sacwood tripod, a red cinema camera, half a dozen overly expensive lights, and of course, a giant 12-foot scrim to diffuse the expensive lights. But when you look at their work, it's simple and boring. Sure, the video quality is great, but nobody cares when there's no story. Props and set design are critical in telling your story, more so than any expensive camera or studio gear. Many feature films have been shot on iPhones by directors with big budgets and extensive resources. Now sure, for them it was a creative choice. But those films had great stories, great actors that engaged the audience. No matter how many stops of dynamic range you have, no matter what your depth of field was, no matter how many camera operators you had, none of those things will keep your audience watching. When Steven Soderbergh directed Unsane, released in 2018, he already had big wins under his belt with films such as Sex, Lies, and Videotape and Aaron Brockovich. So he didn't have to use an iPhone 7. He wanted to because it added to the story. Again, a creative choice. And you may not have those big films in your resume, but he demonstrates what good direction, good props, good set design, along with a good story can do without expensive gear. So stop watching all those videos about better gear and start planning your story with what you have. Be creative, use props and sets to really sell your story. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next filmmaker to win an Oscar with an iPhone. more so than any expensive camera or studio gear. That was the one. That was the one. Huh?
There's a plane.
Fuck the plane.
All right, fine.
No, one more time for safety. One more time for safety.
One more for safety.